Alright, are you ready? I think this is the part in this entire series that you've all been on the edge of your seat waiting for. We're going to take a drastic turn in this series. Part 10, UFOs, Aliens, Fallen Angels. The truth comes out. So far, to date, we've looked at a great deal of information provided by the person we've come to know as the source. We've looked at secret societies going way back in history. We've looked at Freemasonry, the Illuminati, Skull and Bones, the New World Order. We've looked at HAARP, Project Bluebeam, the chemtrails, what they are really spraying, what is really in the chemtrails, and the connection, the ties to not only what these toxins and poisons are that are raining down on the population, but their ties with the barium that are found in the chemtrails with Project Bluebeam. How everything serves more than one agenda, more than one purpose, so to speak. We've looked at HAARP and how with the ELF waves the government can cause earthquakes anywhere around the world at any time, natural disasters, and also through the use of these ELF waves, mind control. And we're going to cover mind control again in great detail. This, for now, I'm still getting a lot of information coming from the person known as the source. We're going to come back to the source, but we're going to conclude with our source for right now. We're going to take a look at the alien agenda. That's right. Are these extraterrestrial beings, these UFOs, and visitors from another planet? Or is it something more sinister, more evil, more dark? Now, I told you all that next I was going to introduce you to, I was going to say the tip of the iceberg for last, but I was going to bring you out the person we're going to come to know as the researcher, who has thousands and thousands of hours in research on not who, but what is behind and where they're coming from. All the information we've been given so far. All the advances in technology with HAARP, Project Bluebeam, the chemtrails, the New World Order, the secret societies. All what is really, not who, but what is really behind all of this. And I was going to bring out the caller last. Well, after this video, I'm going to introduce you to the caller. Now, we're going to find out what really took place in the month of July in 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico. Now, let me say one thing. A lot of people have come forward, eyewitnesses that attest to what took place in Roswell, New Mexico, the Roswell incident. This person, the caller, has told me that this has been, they've kept it in all these many years, and it is just like a cancer been eating away and eating away at them. And it's time that the truth comes out. We're going to learn in great detail what really took place in Roswell, New Mexico on Max Brazel's ranch in 1947. You're going to learn the whole story from the caller, and that's coming up next. What we're going to look at now is, and we're going to conclude for right now, temporarily, and then we're going to get into what happened in Roswell, New Mexico. And it's all going to be tied into everything we see going on in the world today. As we see Bible prophecy unfolding in 2011 and 2012. Here we are, 2012, in December, the end of the Mayan calendar. We're going to take a look right now at the alien agenda. I got to be very careful what information I bring you. And this is very important because you've already known this. The people of the world are being conditioned to believe that these aliens or interdimensional beings are here and soon going to announce themselves to the whole world by scientists. And we hear a lot today about disclosure. And everywhere you look, in the movies, on television, and even in commercials, they're slowly programming to accept, and just so you're not caught off guard, that maybe the possibility of alien life or something far worse exists. What I'm going to play is the audio of a video. It's from a physicist, a scientist, who's going to go in great detail and talk about extraterrestrial life, possibly on other planets, and then he's going to get into something else. another, entering from a wormhole out in space, another interdimensional being. I want you to pay close attention. And I do want you to understand that you got to remember the Vatican held their conference on extraterrestrial life, and the Pope, Benedict, wants to be the first to baptize one of these beings. But are they from another planet? Or is he going to try to baptize a demon right from the pits of hell? Okay, I want you to pay close attention and just listen to this. Here we go. All right, I think we got it. There we go.
Today, I want you to open your mind. Open your mind to the possibility that one day we will make contact with an intelligent civilization in outer space. We will have an existential shock looking at the night sky, realizing that here, there are twins of the Earth. Let me make a prediction, and that is sometime by mid-century, we might make contact with an intelligent civilization in outer space. Now, why do I say this? Because even as we speak, the Kepler satellite, the Kourou satellite, are identifying hundreds of exoplanets in outer space, 500 identified so far. The first Earth-like twins are now being identified. Perhaps they have liquid oceans. Perhaps they have organic chemicals. Perhaps they have amino acids. Perhaps they may even have life. This is one of the goals of scientists looking for signs of life in outer space. But then the question is, if we find microbial life in space, that is not very interesting. But the SETI project has gotten an infusion of funds. They can now analyze 1,000 times more stars than before. And the SETI project wants to eavesdrop on intelligent conversations in space. I'm a physicist. When we physicists look for alien civilizations that could be thousands, millions of years ahead of us in technology, we look for type 1, type 2, and type 3 civilizations. A type 1 civilization has the power of an entire planet. They control the weather. They mine the oceans. They control volcanoes. They control earthquakes. A type 2 civilization in space controls the output of a star. They play with stars. They are immortal. Nothing known to science can destroy a type 2 civilization. Ice ages can be modified. Meteors, comets can be deflected. Even the death of their sun is not a problem. They can either move their planet, reignite their star, or simply find a new star in space. And then we have type 3. A type 3 civilization is galactic. They control the energy output of an entire star. For me, this is very interesting, because a type 3 civilization would be able to control the Planck energy. The Planck energy is the energy at which space becomes unstable. Space begins to boil at the Planck energy. The Planck energy is a quadrillion times higher than the Large Hadron Collider. And gateways, perhaps, wormholes, doorways, portals, perhaps to other dimensions, begin to open up for a Type 3 civilization.
A Type 3 civilization. What I want you to do is pay close attention now. And this is a scientist, a physicist. Pay very close attention. Remember the Norway, the spiral?
As UFO sightings go, this one was as good or as weird as it gets.
It started out as a very small light, but grew into a large circle in the sky that seemed to disappear into a black hole.
That strange blue spiral light in the skies over Norway had to be an alien landing or a wormhole to a distant galaxy.
So we have Type 1, which is planetary, Type 2, which is stellar, and Type 3, which is galactic. There is something beyond galactic.
Here we go.
There's Type 4, and that is dark energy. There is an energy source beyond the galaxy itself. And then the question is, if we start to explore outer space and look for advanced civilizations, why don't they talk to us? Why don't they land here in Saudi Arabia and say, we come in peace? Well, my attitude is, if you walk down a country road and you see an anthill, do you go down to the ants and say, I bring you trinkets, I bring you beads, I give you nuclear energy, take me to your leader? Or maybe you step on a few of them. What does it mean for us? What are we? Are we Type 1 that control the power of a planet? Are we Type 2 that control the power of a star? Are we Type 3 that can control galaxies, alter the fabric of space and time? No. We are Type 0.
Exactly.
But take out a calculator. How long will it take for us to become Type 1? The answer is 100 years. Around the year 2100, we will become a Type 1 civilization. And we see the beginnings of that now. What is the Internet? The Internet is a Type 1 telephone system. We are privileged to be alive to see the birth of a Type 1 telephone system. What is the European Union? The European Union is the beginning of a Type 1 economy. Why are we here today? We are seeing the birth of a Type 1 economy. What is football? Football is the beginning of a Type 1 sports. Get on the Internet. What are the most common languages on the Internet? Number 1 is English. Number 2 is Mandarin. We are beginning to see the beginnings of a Type 1 language. What is rock and roll? The beginning of a Type 1 youth culture. What is Chanel and Gucci? The beginning of a Type 1 high fashion. So, let me tell you that we are now witnessing the greatest transition in the history of the human race. Transition from Type 0 to Type 1. The generation now alive is privileged to see the birth pangs of the birth of a new civilization.
The birth pains. Hang on, there's more. Let me introduce you to Lady Gaga. For a moment here. You're going to have this video in its entirety.
This is the manifesto of Mother Monster. En route, a government-owned alien territory in space, a birth of magnificent and magical proportions took place. But the birth was not finite, it was infinite. As the wombs numbered, and the mitosis of the future began, it was perceived that this infamous moment in life is not temporal, it is eternal. And thus began the beginning of the new race, a race within the race of humanity, a race which bears no prejudice, no judgment, but boundless freedom. But on that same day, as the Eternal Mother hovered in the multiverse, another more terrifying birth took place, the birth of evil.
Now, in this video, showing where Lady Gaga is being brought on stage in an egg.
That is reportedly Lady Gaga inside that interesting shell-like sculpture.
And what we've been doing with the egg and the rebirth, it's meant to signify an artistic statement of birthing a new race, a race within the race of humanity that bears no prejudice against anyone.
The generation now alive is privileged to see the birth pangs of the birth of a new civilization.
Don't be frightened. We mean no harm.
And today, a group of scientists overseas say the world government should start preparing an action plan just in case Earth is contacted by aliens. They claim that a branch of the UN should be given responsibility for what they call a supra-Earth affairs and come up with a detailed response for if or when the extraterrestrials arrive.
But now the United Nations is getting ready for a contact with aliens from outer space. This is Maslin Othman. She's out of Malaysia. She will be planet Earth's first interstellar diplomat.
An incredible story coming out of the Vatican. Listen to this. The senior Vatican scientist said that he would be delighted if we encountered intelligent aliens and would be happy to baptize them. His pronouncement opens up the possibility of space missionaries heading out to the stars to convert aliens to Christianity.
Did the Vatican find alien life?
You know what? As sensationalistic as that question sounds, it's really not that far off from...
So I just want to make a correction. I guess it wasn't Pope Benedict. It was let's carry on.
What we've seen in the news over these last days.
UFO encounters here on Earth.
But that's exactly what firefighters are now training for.
It's the Fire Officer's Guide to Disaster Control and said to be found in firehouses across the U.S. The book covers everything from fires to floods, but it's chapter 13 that takes an unusual twist in firefighting techniques titled Enemy Attack in UFO Potential.
It would not be remiss to give some thought to the part that fire departments might play in the event of the unexpected arrival of UFOs in their communities.
Or is it enough to warrant a UFO education red alert?
This is something that could really happen in our lifetime.
It even asks, how do you treat injured aliens? Are first responders aware of the potential physical injuries?
This is a real phenomena that we should deal with. We should deal with seriously.
Sometime later this year or next year, we expect them to announce, astronomers will announce that we found it, the Holy Grail. I think it's premature for us to announce our presence in outer space until we know their intention.
Scientists say that they examined all aspects of the search for alien life, from astronomy, biology, to the political and religious fallout that would result from alien contact. And the report also said that evolution on alien worlds is likely to be Darwinian, which may mean that extraterrestrials share our tendencies for violence and exploitation. So basically, when they arrive on Earth, they're probably going to be mean. I'm not kidding. One of the scientists actually said, prepare for the worst.
Today, from science fiction to science fear, news buzz among some scientists that if aliens do exist, that they're mostly nasty, resource-consuming locusts that would stop at nothing to take what they want and destroy anyone in their way. If intelligent aliens exist, they will look just like us. And given our far from glorious history, this should give us pause for thought. So are they coming to enslave us all? And does this mean we have to change our definition of ET from extraterrestrial to evil and terrifying?
I believe it was extraterrestrial. I now believe it is interdimensional, the phenomenon. In other words, we're looking at so-called spirit beings from another dimension.
Exactly.
By equating it to ancient manuscripts where these beings manifested
to human beings and what their reactions were, and then comparing it to reactions present day of people who have had encounters, and the similarities are striking.
Now, the report also says that if ETs do come from an Earth-like world, they could resemble us. They might have similar biological molecules. So, hey, that could expand the dating pool. But on the chance that there are aliens out there, which I totally believe there are, I'll be with the scientists on this one and say, let's get prepared.
Okay, in this series, we're going to find out, we're going to uncover the truth. Is the government, through the media, through television, commercials, ads, the movie industry, which we know is controlled by the government and the Illuminati, preparing us for an event? Is it going to be a false flag event where we think these are extraterrestrials from another planet, when the truth is really they're preparing us for fallen angels, interdimensional beings? We're gonna uncover the truth in this series. Let me bring you a little bit more before we conclude. Then when I come back, we're going to find out what really happened, so you are prepared in Roswell, New Mexico. And the mainstream media, hence all the ULS, paranormal activity, instructions from demons during meditation sessions, aliens and greys. We're going to talk a great deal about this. In dreams, I know you've heard of aliens or called greys or reptilians. Visions and during hypnosis sessions and movies and advertisements like these. And there's going to be links below. And I want to bring as much as I can before we leave our source temporarily. And they are only hiding who they are, who they really are. And there's another link for you. But the message to the survivors and those yet to be murdered or martyred is not. Come together in unity as one world, as I first suspected. This is coming from the source. Given the fact that a one world government will result, no. The message is surrender or else. And I've got a lot of links I'm going to provide for you. Now, there was an incident that happened in China. It's kind of like preparing everyone for the possibility of what we may think is actually the rapture, and it is not, where an entire village disappeared. That's correct, this really happened, and it was covered in the news. An entire village in China came up missing after a UFO event. And what our source has given me information is, hope I can see this in small print. This is what our source is telling us. In the light of this supposed event, it may be more understandable as to at least one reason why China has built numerous entire skyscraping ghost cities. Entire skyscrapers, entire cities that are ghost cities. Yes, that's why I said they have been found in satellite imagery. There's a reason why China has done this. Built these ghost cities. And you can find them right on satellite. And yes, China is in on the fun as well. They have agreed to take part. My sources would tell you that this light event was likely nothing more than a transformer fire. They burn exactly like that, stay extremely hot and stay lit, creating all kinds of colors and shapes until someone puts them out. The electricity merely feeds the fire, but it was a government, I gotta be careful here, op. It was nothing more than a ground-based light show. I'm talking about Project Bluebeam. It is also known that China has the capacity to move large numbers of population in the event of a catastrophe, given their many gigantic underground tunnels and more, and now rather their massive empty cities, that they built these empty cities. One wonders, how do they know that such catastrophes will happen with such certainty that they go to the lengths that they have gone to protect their people? And why have we not? A lot of information that I'm going to provide in the links below. Now I'm just going to read a little bit because I questioned, as I did with our caller, over and over to make sure I'm getting the story correctly. And I asked the question of the person known as a source. The real agenda then is evil? And the response is yes. To control the world through a one world government? Yes. To reduce the population from around 7 billion to 500 million? Yes. Real fallen angels, demons are involved? Satan is behind it? Yes, most definitely. I'm gonna stop there. Let me see if I can bring you any other information. There's more links I'm going to provide you regarding the Galactic Federation of Light, the greatest New Age deception. There will be a video in the description box where this Galactic Federation of Light, and what does it say in the living word of the Bible? We should not have anything to do with sorcerers, mediums, fortune tellers that talk to the dead. And we're going to get in detail on this evil. It's not, they do not come in peace, the Galactic Federation of Light, and they're going to come and we're all going to live in perfect light. Don't be deceived. A lot of information to bring you. And I'm going to put as many links below as I can in the description box. And then we're going to come back, because I talked to the caller. I had an experience, and my wife could tell you. She's in the next room. I think it was 3 years ago, where we lived. It was kind of, we lived near the lake, and it was dark in the country. We lived on a dark country road, and there was a craft that followed us and hovered above us. It didn't make any noise, maybe like a slight hum, but it was black, and it was a triangular shaped craft. The person that I'm going to introduce you to, the caller, is third generation military. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. And I described this. It hovered above our car for a great distance, and then it shot right away. It shot off over the lake. And I described this black triangular craft that made no noise and just hovered. He said, no, that's one of ours. But where did we get the technology? We're going to find out. Leave me comments and stay tuned. It's only going to get better. God bless.